Hello everyone, this is Sampada again. Hope you have had a peaceful day. Let's begin with Zentangle. I'm really looking forward to today's session again with all of you. So as I had mentioned before, let's begin with deciding what exactly are we going to do today. So today I'm going to introduce another tangle, and it is called FLUKES, and this has been introduced by Zentangle, and today is the 5th of February. So now that we have recorded what exactly we are going to do, we flip our tile around, and first of all, find gratitude. Find gratitude for whatever it is you are grateful for today. I am certainly grateful for this opportunity to interact with you, to show this beautiful art and what it is all about. So as I had mentioned before, we after the step of gratitude and appreciation, we make these corner dots and connect them. You can turn your tile around and make sure you're comfortable making these lines. Again, they don't have to be straight lines. The idea is not to stress about anything. So whatever lines you draw, that becomes our border now. And now what I'm going to do is again introduce you to a pattern using a pen. So what we are going to do now, and I'll just go ahead and use this entire space. Actually, you know what, we will not do that. Let me go ahead and make kind of a line here. You see this line here? So I'm just going to extend myself to this much area, okay? And now I will start my tangle in the upper half, the wider area. So what we are going to do today is what is called a grid tangle. A grid tangle is nothing but a tangle that resides in a grid. And a grid is just like this. It's just a crisscross of lines. They can be really, really straight. They can be a bit curved. They can be big and small. I mean, it doesn't matter. We just go ahead and I have no clue how this is going to turn out. We will see what will come out of this. I don't know. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, now that I have this grid ready, you see there is one square each place, and of course there are some areas that are not fully available, right? So let me begin with one of these side ones. So what I'm going to do is I start with the outermost side and keep making these, what I call them, the shape V, right? You just keep going down. You can go down as much as you want. The only difference is the very last one, the very last square, we go ahead and fill it in. Now you can fill in a bigger area or you can fill in a smaller area, doesn't matter. So what I mean by that is I could have filled this whole thing, or I just fill in that little part. Okay, let's see how the rest of them turn out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to this terminology is used in Zentangle, which is the echoing of this line. So we are essentially just following that same pattern. And now the innermost, I'm just going to fill it in. And I will do the same for each of these. Filling in the last one. Now we just make each line very mindfully. Okay, so every stroke we do it very mindfully. And you can see all I'm doing is just creating that same pattern over and over again. Again, here too, I go ahead and I'll do the same in these. And in Zentangle there are a lot of grid patterns. Just like FLUKES, the one that we are exploring now, there are a whole bunch of other grid patterns too. So you could experiment, and we will experiment with a lot of those. So let me finish the ones that are fully visible. Then we'll figure out what we want to do with the others. Right? And I like to go from the biggest V to the smallest V so that I don't run out of room or crowd the bigger lines out. So I give precedence to these bigger lines. So I make these V's and I keep gradually going down smaller and smaller. Right? All I'm doing is just mindfully making these strokes. Always hold the tile with your other hand so tile stays steady. And here all I'm doing is I'm just going partially, however much I can see, right? Here too, there's not going to be anything much visible. Here too, we just draw whatever we think, because the rest of it is not available, not visible, right? Like so. Similarly here too, you can see how I'm kind of tilting my or turning my tile. So feel free to turn your tile. And now we have pretty much finished all the tiles, all the diamonds rather. Now what about these ones? Okay, let's see, what do we do with this? There are two ways to do this. I can just, now this line is suggestive, right? It's not like, oh, you shall not come down this line. So I can just go ahead and finish these diamonds and go around my business as usual and create my flukes pattern here. Similarly, I can go ahead and do the same here. Again, do the same on the last bit. Okay, now I can just stop here and say, this is all I want to do. What about this? Let me use this to create my opportunity. Remember, we say there are no mistakes in Zentangle, there are just opportunities. So here is where I'm actually going to add one more tangle, and this one is called tipple. Tipple is a really wonderful tangle. Essentially all it has is these orbs. We call them orbs and not circles because circles come with a lot of baggage. And when I say baggage, a circle by definition means that it has to be equidistant, and it has to have the same radius and diameter or whatever, right? So it comes with a lot of baggage like that. So instead, in Zentangle terminology, anything that looks circular, we do not call it a circle, to release us from that pressure. Because a circle, I'm sure whatever I'm drawing is not a circle in the strictest sense, right? So why call it a circle if it's not a circle? It's an orb. So that's what these are. These are all orbs, right? So all I'm doing is I'm now adding this tangle here at the very end. Right? And this way I can kind of transition into another tangle, which is the tipple. Now I could go ahead and continue drawing tipple in the rest of the area and kind of keep drawing these orbs as if they have just been, so these orbs are all kind of bound together, but these are all free, they are running away, right? I mean, use your imagination and say, okay, these ones are going away. And that's all. So this is all we are going to do as far as the pattern is concerned, drawing the pattern is concerned. And we can always fill these, because whenever we draw these two orbs, there will be some space in between, right? So we can just go ahead and fill it in and leave it at that. And now comes the fun part, of course, because now we need to shade this, right? So all I'm doing is I'm going to shade, and you never shade the black areas, okay? You just don't, because a lot of times what happens is when you put some graphite on top of this black, it starts kind of like shining and it just doesn't look good. And anyway, it's black. What are you going to do? You can't shade on top of it, right? So now you see how I'm kind of adding graphite to each of these areas, the V next to this dark spot that we filled in. and you can already see some sort of a dimension coming up. Okay, so now that I have added the pencil, now let me just go ahead and shade it. Now anytime you shade, you kind of want to spread the graphite, but not too much. The best way is to kind of make these small circular motions. Okay. Alrighty, so that is the shading for flukes. See how dimensional it looks? You can almost feel these diamonds buried under each other, right? And now the last bit, I'm going to add, I could have just filled this whole thing with black. That is another way to kind of transition. But I was thinking if I can just go ahead and shade it. I think I like the idea of filling it in better. So let me, you can always change your mind and say, nah, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this whole area in, make it all black. It's a bold decision, yes, but it's okay. Sometimes we can take a bold decision and then stick by it. Let me see if I have something a bit more thicker that I can use to fill it in. And you can see how impactful this black becomes. Yeah, a little goes a long way. There we go, and I can see a little bitty that needs a black here, and that's it. And now as far as shading tipple is concerned, we can just go ahead and give these a little graphite too, maybe a little graphite down here too. These almost look like pebbles along the river or something, right? There we go. And I could go ahead and shade each of these two. And we will do tipple a lot of times. It's a really great tangle to kind of use in a lot of places. So I'm sure we will explore tipple more. But feel free to just shade one side of these orbs and they kind of suddenly start looking two-dimensional. And now that's it. We are done with today's tile. So let me see, what direction is it now? Okay, it's like that. I don't want to keep it that way. I like it this way. So I'm going to add my initial here, and that's it. Now you can look at it, appreciate it, and say, this was pretty cool. So tell me how you like these sessions in the comment section, and please do feel free to spread the word and have more people join us and do these explorations. So thank you so much once again, and have a wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you.